Hello, welcome to this week's miracle video. I hope you had a great week. Last week, somebody asked if I would have all the kids come on and tell about their miracles of the week, and I think that's a fantastic idea. I forgot to tell them this week, to be thinking of something, because you really do have to be looking for miracles and writing them down because it's hard to remember them, or at least be making a conscious effort to say wow, that was Heavenly Father helping me. So I forgot to ask them, so I'm not going to have them on video today. I will ask Kaitlyn though. She always has miracles that she wants to share with me. So I will ask her when I'm all done. But I do have some good news for the older kids that I will share that are little tender mercies in their lives. So for Kylie, she had a major foot reconstructive surgery 2 weeks ago, and she is doing great. She is so grateful for modern medicine and surgery, and so am I. It is a very long, difficult recovery, so I'm praying that she has as quick as possible recovery and that she stays in good spirits. And my mom too. She is in surgery at this very moment. So my prayers are with her and for her surgeon. And I'm just so grateful for surgeons who have amassed this amazing skill to be able to operate on people and to make them better. I'm just so grateful for them. But back to Kylie, her little tender mercy is that she is so loved that just so many friends are bringing her meals. They come and sit with her and read her picture books. They keep her company. They sing to her. I'm just so grateful for people taking care of her. And that has just been tender mercy that she's had a great attitude and everything has gone very well. Okay, on to Madalyn. I talked to her this week and she said that she got to film Studio C. So as you know, she works for BYU TV. She uses the cameras. Isn't that so cool? She said it is the best job ever and she just loves it. She always just thought work was something you did for a paycheck, but this is so much fun. So she got to film Studio C last week. It was 7 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night and she had so much fun doing it. She got to hang out with the cast members all day. They had fantastic snacks and meals. It was just so much fun, and I'm really happy for her. She doesn't usually get to have those long shifts because she's in school, and over spring, summer, she is taking a class, but they're allowed to film a lot more. They're allowed to work 40 hours, and during the school year, they're only allowed to work 20 hours. So that is her little bit of happy news. Spencer's is that he got a 4.0 last semester. He's so excited about that. He tries every semester, and usually there's one A-. There's just that one professor that wants to give you an A-. So he was pleasantly surprised when they all gave him A's because he thought that there would be one or two that didn't. So that is his happy news. For me, I had a great week. I was doing a Q&A one day and everything just went off really nicely. And I just thank you, Heavenly Father, for helping out because so many times I'm doing these and a battery is dead, the lighting is bad, the clouds will go over the sun, whatever. And I'm Heavenly Father, why aren't you helping me? This is so hard for me. And time is just zooming by and I still haven't filmed anything good. And I'm messing up all the time. And this time it just went really smoothly and I could feel Heavenly Father's help. There was also a day where I wanted to do a cover for my 20th century curriculum. And I had done the video a couple days before and I went to publish it and realized, oh no, I don't have a good cover for it. And I looked at the picture or the video and I was wearing this red shirt and I was I need to wear that red shirt again so I could do the cover. And I was no, I put it in the wash. I remember putting it in the wash. So I go upstairs and pick out another shirt and there was the red shirt just sitting there. And I was okay, that's weird. Here is my red shirt. And it wasn't too dirty. So I threw it on. I just said, thank you, Heavenly Father. You're just helping me work this out. He just wanted to put forth his hand because he could to make this cover go really quickly so I could move on to other important things. And I asked McKenna if she would take some pictures of me and she just put down her book and was sure, Mom. She came right out cheerfully. I grabbed some curriculum. She took a few pictures and I feel we nailed it right away, and I just was so grateful. I don't know that cover turned out any better than any other covers that I've spent hours on, but in my mind, it was just Heavenly Father made it look good to me. Y'all might not like it any better, but I love that he can change my eyes to see it differently and to be satisfied with it when other times I might not have been satisfied, if that makes sense. I was just grateful for all those little pieces come together and I got it done really quickly. I put it on my computer and was going to do the font and stuff. And I realized I wanted to match the same font as the curriculum that I sell on my blog. And I remembered that Thomas did that part of it several years ago. And I was thank you that Thomas is here. I'm so glad he's here to help me with this. So I ran into his room and I also had the thought, I'll do it tonight after dinner. But then I went in and asked him, do you remember that font that you used? And he's sure, I can look it up. And I realized he had to go in 5 minutes to serve in town, and he wouldn't get home until like 10 o'clock at night. And so I was just glad that I ran and asked him right at that time. He quickly found it. He took my computer and figured out where it is on my computer, because I just have a Chromebook and he has like a real one. And he found it really fast. He put it on my computer. I was able to finish that cover really fast before dinner and sending Thomas on his way. And I was just so grateful. Okay, this week on Friday, we had a pretty busy day. We had a friend that wanted to stop through on a drive through the state, and I was really excited to see her. Lori wanted to come up and visit, and I'm always excited to see her. And then what else? I had an odd job planned, but then we also had this appointment in Raleigh, and I just felt like canceling everything except that appointment in Raleigh and taking the kids and spending the day in Raleigh. I just felt really good about that. So I'm grateful that Heavenly Father can tell us what we should do. You know, all those options were great. They all would have turned out great. And sometimes it really don't matter which one you pick because they're all good things. But I was grateful for the help in making this decision, because so many times I don't feel like I have Heavenly Father's help in making decisions. And I feel like that is because He wants us to realize when He is helping us and when He's not helping us. You know what I mean? Like, you have to feel the opposite so that you can tell, like, when you're not hungry, when you are hungry, or when you're full, or when you're hot, or when you're cold, or when life is hard, then you can also tell the difference when life is easy, if that makes sense. So I was just grateful for Him helping me decide to go to Raleigh, and that I felt really good about it and peaceful. So I sadly canceled on my friend, but she was so nice about it. She's like, don't worry at all, we'll catch you next time. So I appreciate that. Lori said at the same time, oh, I just got a dog sitting job this weekend. So that worked out fine. And the odd jobs person, it was fine. I think we'll be able to reschedule next week. I haven't heard from her, but I think we'll be able to reschedule. So anyway, we go to Raleigh, and we decided to kind of recreate a day in Raleigh May of 2022 when I had all 10 kids. And it was just so fun. Like, I hadn't thought about that when we were going to Raleigh, but once we got there and we took pictures, then I was like, hey, this is like almost the exact same day in May of 2022 that we did these same activities. Let's do them all again. So we went to the temple, which is a really special place for us. Now, I haven't taken Thomas since August when he went to the temple for the first time. You have to be 18 to do like the adult ordinances, and you have to be 12 to do the younger ordinances. So anyway, I haven't taken him back, and I just feel terrible about that. It's so far away, and our gas, the wear and tear on the car, he's using the car almost every day for service, so it's been hard to fit in. In any case, I'm just grateful that we canceled things and we made it work out. So we went to the temple and had a really good time. Then afterward, we went to Duke Gardens, which is also what we had done in May 2022. It's beautiful there. Now, I'd always heard of Duke Gardens before moving to North Carolina, and I loved it. So the times when we lived in North Carolina, we went, and then we went 4 years ago. We took all 10 kids. So we retook some of the pictures that we had taken in 2022 and some from 2015. That was really fun to recreate those memories and to walk around. So many things have changed. They're always redesigning it, but it's so fun to look at. And then we stopped at a blood drive because we had also done a blood drive in 2022. And Kaitlyn was so excited about it. Now, this is what she wanted for her birthday when she turned 16, was to go to a blood drive, but there aren't any in Virginia. So we always have to find one in North Carolina somewhere, and they're hours away. So she looked it up all by herself. She found one right on our way home, and she made herself an appointment. So we stopped and did that. She and Thomas donated. It was so fun to watch them, and they saved 6 lives, you know? So what a great ending to the day. Then we got home, and I had made soup in the crock pot that morning. And when we got home, then the power had been out, and it just had come back on like an hour or two beforehand. So the power was out all day. I checked my email, and it said it went off at like 8:53 in the morning, and it had just come back on at 5. So I was like, well, there's our soup. And yes, I checked, and the beans were still hard, so nothing had cooked. And I just went with it. You know, sometimes I get so upset. I'm like, why? I had this all planned out. We could have had a nice hot meal. It was kind of chilly up here. We had all these groceries to unload. And why can't we have hot soup in the oven? I mean, in the crock pot. But I didn't. I was like, oh, well, it'll all work out. And I'm glad, because when you have that mentality, then things do work out. Heavenly Father will open the next door. So right at that time, then my mom called about her surgery. We didn't even know, actually. She just called and said, I'm in the emergency room. I'm going to need emergency surgery in the morning. And all the siblings were on the call. So it was really fun. We're all trying to talk about who can go out and help her and when and everything for about an hour and a half. And the kids just like threw in some frozen pizza, and they fed themselves. And so, you know, it all worked out because I love soup. So this morning I just cooked the soup and we had it for lunch, and it all worked out fine. I was just grateful that we had the power out on a day when we were gone all day long. And I'm grateful that I didn't cancel the Raleigh trip and just like stayed home and, like had people over, because we wouldn't have had power. And I would have thought, oh, I need to work. I can't really take a day off, because I usually try to work like 10, 12, 15 hours sometimes on Fridays and Saturdays. I really pack it in. So I would have been home trying to work, and without internet, I wouldn't have gotten a lot done. So I'm just glad that we went to Raleigh, and then that was the day that the power was out all day. Isn't that just a nice, tender mercy? We had beautiful weather. Everyone was in great moods. It was just so relaxing, to get away from your town and to walk around these lush gardens, to just hang out with each other and not feel the stress of projects all around and weeds to pull and phone calls and everything else that's going on when you're at home. So it was just wonderful. I just felt so grateful for a wonderful day, making new memories with my kids. I shared all the pictures with the older kids, and they're like, oh, that looks so fun. I remember those good memories. Thanks for sharing. So that was really fun too. Okay, here is Kaitlyn, and then I will just say, hope you have a great week. Keep watching for those miracles. As always, thank you for sharing your miracles with me. They strengthen my testimony and my faith. I know Heavenly Father loves you. I know He cares about the littlest things. I know He is there all the time. Even if you can't feel Him, it's just so that you will definitely feel when He's not helping you compared to when He is helping you. And then you'll be more grateful that He is helping you. I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.
Hello, this is Kaitlyn, and today I'm going to share 3 little miracles that I saw in my life this week. So the first one was that I was able to give blood, and I was so happy because I was just so excited to give blood, and I really hoped that I would be able to, but I was afraid that my iron would be too low or something, because I hadn't really taken any iron vitamins or anything. So I was afraid it's going to be too low. And the first time that they tested my iron, they put a little thing around my thumb, and it said that my iron was too low. So I was like, oh no, like I still hope I can give blood. They said they'd try again because it could be because my thumb was too cold. So they warmed up my thumb and tried again. And I just said a little prayer that I'd still be able to give blood and that my iron would be high enough, and they tested it again, and my iron was high enough, and I was able to give blood, and I was so excited. And it might have just been because my thumb was cold, but I really believe that God helped me, and that it was because of Him that I was able to give blood. The second little miracle was at play practice. And recently I have been doing a little thing for different people where I ask everybody what their favorite thing is about that one person. And I write it all down in a letter and give that one person the letter of all the nice things that everybody said about that person. So I did that for one girl one of the days, and I just go around asking people what their favorite thing is about that girl. But I don't have a lot of time to do it because we're not supposed to talk during the show while we're performing it, practicing it. So I just have to go as quickly as I can, ask a bunch of people at the start of play practice and then at the end, and write it all down and give the person that letter. So I asked a bunch of people at the start, well, some people, but it wasn't as much as I liked, just like maybe 5 or something. And I wrote it down, but I hoped I would have time to ask more people at the end and write them down and give it to that girl, because I didn't want to wait all the way till the next week of play practice to give it to her. So I hoped that she wouldn't leave quickly, so I could still give it to her. And yeah, I was able to ask a bunch of more people and then give it to her, and it was so fun to see her reaction. And yeah, it's so worth it. It was so fun. She was so excited. And I was so glad that I was able to do that. And that was just a little miracle for me. And then one more from play practice was, this one is like really small, but it was like a big thing in the moment. So we did some dress rehearsals, and I'm a butterfly for part of the show. And so we had these wings, and mine were like really small for me, and really tight and have like a really long wingspan, so I couldn't like straighten my arms with them very well and do the dance moves that well. So and I noticed that one other girl who's a butterfly had wings that were like really big for her, and I was like, man, I wish I could switch with her, but she'll probably want like the nice big wings. But she was like smaller than me, so I wasn't sure if I should ask. But then she came up to me and she was like, I'm drowning in these wings. And I said, do you want to switch? She was like, yes, please. And I was like, really? Like, yay! Because I was really hoping that we could switch, but I thought she would want the wings that she had, but the small ones fit her well, and she gave the big ones to me. And I was just so happy about it. And yeah, it was like a really small thing, but it was like a big blessing for me in the moment. Um, and yeah, sometimes it's the little things that can make a difference. And I think sometimes it's good to recognize just the tiny, teeny, tiny little miracles every day in our lives. And yeah, that was just one for me. So, yeah.